Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. And with Voltron Legendary Defender's second season coming out, I decided to go back and take a look at what I do believe is the only Western release of a Voltron video game that was released on the PS3 and Xbox 360 several years ago. Now this was a digital only game made by a now defunct developer called THQ, meaning you can't purchase this anymore. Why am I still talking about it then? Shut up! This is my channel. I can review whatever I dang well please. Besides, with Season 2 of the new Voltron TV series hitting Netflix this week, what better time to talk about this game? Anyway, THQ before closing got the rights to use Voltron to make a video games based on a Nickelodeon TV series. That television series didn't work too well, that's why we're getting the Netflix series. But anyways, they were going to make games based on the new series as well as the classic. And with the new series sucking and THQ ended up closing their doors shortly after, this was the only game made for Voltron, and boy was this game made on a budget. I myself picked this one up on the last day it was on the marketplace, not because I heard great things about it, but because as a fan of Voltron I figured I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I didn't buy it. Basically, the story of Voltron goes like this. Earth is at peace and has formed something called the Galaxy Alliance. However, that peace is threatened by the evil King Zarkon and his evil empire. They send 5 space explorers to planet Eris to retrieve Voltron to face this menace. Well, that's the American version, at least, and the original Japanese version is Voltron was a giant arrogant prick of a robot who decided he could challenge God to a fist fight. God won and split him up into several pieces. Several millennia later, we human beings managed to nuke Earth to a crisp. Zarkon and his army are nearby and just decided to enslave the survivors of the nuclear holocaust and take them back to his world, where live out the rest of their lives in torture. 5 Earthlings managed to escape this and crash land on the planet where Voltron remains are, and the people of that planet believe that if he is ever restored, he would be their guardian deity to defend against Zarkon. Yeah, the original Japanese version is quite a bit darker, and you can watch a few episodes of them legally here on YouTube on the Voltron channel. Anyways, the game takes 3 arcs of the series, the first arc, the fake Voltron episode, and last arc of the series, and puts it into its story. And the way they do it is kinda nice. They use clips from the show as cutscenes between stages, and Radio Chatter actually uses voice clips from the 1980s dub. They don't always fit together well, but it was a clever idea in how to manage the age of the show and put it into a new game. Overall, what was there in the story I enjoyed. I just wouldn't have minded an extra episode or 2 because the game does feel a little bit short. Voltron lasted over 50 episodes, so they had plenty more to pick from, and it's a shame they didn't. So what about this game made it so reviled and so hated by critics and fans alike that everybody complains about how much this game sucked? Well, to be honest, for the most part, I kinda enjoyed this game and had some fun with it. Yes, I kind of like this game for the most part. They did screw up one part that makes a lot of Voltron fans really angry, and I'll get to that part later. First, let's get to the basics. For the most part here, Voltron here is a bullet hell shooter. You pick from one of the 5 robot lions and go up and shoot the heck out of Zarkon's forces. And if you're wondering, yes, if you pick the blue lion, you will be playing as Finn for the first stage, and then he will be swapped out for Princess Allura. For the second stage, as I said before, Finn gets killed, or sent to the hospital planet after the first few episodes. Anyways, each lion fires a different shot and has different stats and special weapons. The controls are simple enough. One of the analog sticks moves the lion, while the other one fires shots in whatever direction it's held. It's simple enough to throw in special moves and abilities like being able to leap, and you got pretty much the basics of this game. They even have a few old school power-ups like Voltron's sword that powers up your lion's shots temporarily, and each stage has objectives like finding something and blowing it up in order to complete the stage. And you know what? I actually kind of like these ideas and the whole design of the game. It fits into something you could have easily seen in the 1980s arcade, but makes it a little newer. Since Voltron is a mid-80s cartoon, why not use a generic popular in the mid-80s if you're going to make a video game with the classic Voltron characters? Throw in another thing I like, that if a lion dies, you don't automatically lose a life, but rather your pilot gets ejected from the lion and is now forced to fight with a useless blaster for about 10 seconds until their lion gets repaired. And when you're one of the space explorers, it only takes 1 or 2 hits for you to actually get killed. So it's very tense waiting for that lion to get up and going, but still I like this idea that you get an extra chance. So far, it's basically a game trying to be a 1980s arcade shooter and does it, well, okay. Not great, but certainly okay enough to be enjoyable. So where does it hit the garbage can in quality? The bosses! The bosses suck! Alright, first you have to fight them in your lion, and they move so slowly that really all you have to do is keep moving in one direction and keep shooting in the boss's direction, and you're usually going to find yourself quite safe from their attacks, and in about 2 to 3 minutes they eventually go down, and then the game hits the worst parts. What are they? Notice so far I have only spoken about the lions and the gameplay around controlling and fighting as the lions. But this isn't called Go Lion. Well, okay, that was the name of the original Japanese version, but this is called Voltron, Defender of the Universe, and so far I have not talked about playing as him. And for good reason. Playing as Voltron sucks. Yeah, you think going to pilot a Japanese super mech and wreaking havoc is going to be fun? Think again. Think instead of playing a really crappy turn-based RPG with quick time events, because that's what playing as Voltron is about. Basically, pick a move, it doesn't matter which one, hit the window right and watch the animation, then press another button as it appears to dodge the road beast attack. Repeat for several mind-numbingly dull minutes to win the fight. Eventually the road beast's health will go down, in which case you will have to press the X button really fast to bring out the blazing sword and finish the road beast off. Now you can see why people hate this game. The main part of Voltron was watching them combine and turn into an unstoppable, super powerful robot that goes against their foes. This is just tedious, and rather than something to get excited for, Voltron is something to go, oh good God, not again. And finally, there is only 3 episodes, and again, the original series had around 60. I do believe having another episode in to make it an even 4 would have definitely helped the gameplay too, as the game just feels short. Graphically, this game definitely was on a budget, and those graphics aren't pretty. I don't care if you're trying to look a little retro, this game still looks hideous. The character models are meh at best, and there are only a few variation of enemies. Again, I'll cut them some slack. It was a $10 game based on a 30-year property that was released only to appeal to nostalgia, but can they at least make it look like it's as pretty as my nostalgia does through those rose-tinted glasses of childhood? This just looks terrible. The music is really good, and they even use Voltron's iconic theme in some of the classic music from the show and remix it into this game music, and it sounds really good. And then again, they use clips from the original show for radio chatter, which doesn't always work out, but was clever enough to give them a pass on the sound. Overall, the sound is really, really good.
This is for my father.
Final recommendation, Voltron Defender of the Universe was an average game back when it was on the digital marketplace. It's not god-awful, nor was it overpriced, but it was merely average, and that's kind of a shame, as our favorite killer robot from Japan should have deserved better. If you're wondering if you should check out the 2nd season of Voltron Legendary Defender on Netflix, it's definitely worth binge watching. It had a lot of great events in Season 2. There were 1 or 2 letdowns. Again, one of my problems with Voltron Legendary Defender is they will not wrap up a season properly, as once again we are hit with a major cliffhanger, this time a little bit more personal, over a character that they have definitely been hinting on going to bite the dust since the beginning of the series, because if you look at the classic Voltron series, this guy is a 5th wheel, but at the same time, he is so well written that I really don't think I'd enjoy seeing him get offed. We'll just have to see what Season 3 has in store for us. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master signing out. I'll see you guys later.